What's up YouTubers, welcome to another top 10 video. Today we're going to be looking at the best cars you can get for under £2,000 in the UK. And like my other videos, this isn't solely based on the UK, this can be found all over the world. Now keep in mind, this is all opinion based, and if you guys have any other ideas of cars that should be on here, please comment them below, because I love your guys' feedback. So, let's get into it. Now this top 10 list is going to be like my other car videos, and if you haven't seen them, they could be quite useful, so go check them out if you can. I'm going to be comparing 7 important features I think a car should have, and just averaging the score out at the end. Now honestly, this was quite a difficult list to make as there's so many options on the market, but as I've said, these are my opinions and yours could be completely different. So we're going to be starting the list with number 10, the MG/TF. Now this mid-engine rear-wheel drive car will give you over 100 horsepower depending on what model you have. You can expect 0 to 60 times in around 8 to 9 seconds, with the 160 models even pushing them around 6 seconds, so it definitely doesn't lack on performance. But what does this mean for cost? Surprisingly, there's a lot of TFs out there for pretty good prices, and you can definitely strike up some good deals if you look hard enough. So okay, you've gone and got your car and you're happy with it. Now what do you do for insurance? Personally, for me, the TF actually comes in pretty reasonable, but this could be totally different to you depending on how old you are and where you live. Another thing about the car, MG/TFs don't have the greatest reliability stance, so you might need to consider that. So number 9 on my list is the Mazda MX5. Now this is a classic roadster, and a lot of people love this car because it looks good and it's really fun to drive. For practicality points, it's not so good, it's in line with the MG/TF, but you're going to be getting pretty good Japanese reliability, and definitely for a pretty good price. You can pick these up for pretty cheap around the UK as there's so many of them around. And for this reason, I'd assume that there are plenty of parts around as well. Now for insurance, this is where it really falls down. For some reason, you're probably going to be paying a lot to insure this car, as let's face it, people probably go out to have fun on them and end up having accidents. Another thing to consider is road tax on this is quite high at over £245 in most cases, so it's quite expensive to get on the road overall. Number 8 on my list is the Toyota Celica, and personally it's my favourite looking car. However, I know people have different opinions on this. It's one of the best performing cars on the list, with 0 to 60 times in around 7 or 8 seconds, depending on your model. And to be fair, it doesn't have the worst fuel economy, sitting close with the other petrol cars that I've looked at. Now when we're talking about price, you're going to be paying a fair amount. Celicas are by far the most expensive on the list, but that doesn't mean you can't get them. You'll just have to keep searching until a reasonable price comes along. And if I'm going to be honest, insurance prices and tax are going to be pretty expensive. Don't expect to get this one pretty cheap, especially if you're in somewhere like London, or your age is between 17 and 21. But I guess that's the price you'll have to pay for such a good looking car, in my opinion. Number 7 is the Peugeot 307. I'm talking mostly about the hatchback version, but there are plenty of models around. Now to me, they're not the worst looking cars, and they're actually pretty practical. Now when we're talking about fuel economy, if you get yourself a diesel version, you'll be doing pretty well for yourself. My only problem with them is that they're known to have a few electrical problems, in addition to not really being that quick off the line. You can get 307s for a reasonable price, and there's quite a few around so you won't have to worry about parts. Since 307s come in diesel versions, you can get very cheap road tax for them. And when looking at insurance, they come in pretty good, being one of the lowest on my list, but surprisingly not the lowest. You'll have to wait for part 2 of my videos for that information. So overall, not a bad car. As I said, just keep a lookout for those electrical problems, but in any case, you should be fine. Next on my list at number 6 is the Mini Cooper hatchback. Now I know some people don't really like Mini Coopers that much, but I quite like them. They just have a classic feel you don't really get from other cars. Now you're not going to get the quickest 0 to 60 times in a Mini, at around 9 to 13 seconds, with quite a sluggish diesel engine if you get that model. Now for prices, they're one of the most expensive on the list. As you can imagine, they're pretty sought after cars and people really like them, but you can still get them for under £2,000, you just have to keep looking. Minis have pretty good reliability and are actually quite economical, so you could save on tax and fuel if you get the diesel version at the cost of the performance, and insurance is actually pretty decent for them. I think Minis are great little cars and I'd highly recommend one, obviously if you like the look of it. Now that's it for this time guys, part 2 will be coming up very soon if this video shows interest. I do really enjoy making them, but they take a lot of time to do the research and editing and voiceovers and stuff. But if you enjoyed it, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up, it really helps. And I'll catch you in the next one. See ya!